It's my privilege and an honor to welcome Mr. Saket Tiku here at SSBM. It's our pleasure to have you here. Mr. Tiku, being the president of the Gas Association of India, such a high-level position, and besides that, managing to consult and advise high-level people from Prime Minister to federal government of India. Please tell us more about yourself, about your background. I'm sure our colleagues are very keen to understand how does such a high-level leader decide to take a DBA journey. What's your motivation behind that? And finally, how do you juggle between so many different obligations and chores and being so successful as I can prove being a mentor in your DBA journey?
Thank you, Minja, for inviting me over. I was very happy when I told you that I'm going to be in Zagreb, and you very graciously and kindly accepted to come over from Belgrade to meet me in Zagreb in this new campus of yours. Thank you for, coming down to meet me.
It's our pleasure.
Now, India's oxygen success story in fighting COVID was primarily because the government of India did a wonderful job. And yes, I'm heading the Indian Gas Association, AGMA, which is All India Industrial Gases Manufacturers Association. More than 95% of oxygen which is being manufactured, supplied, distributed in India is by the members of this association. When this COVID thing started, worldwide in India, the lockdown started on 24th of March, and immediately March 2020. So the government didn't know how to fight this COVID in terms of oxygen, and a committee was formed by the government, and I was appointed in the committee. The job of this committee was done by the federal government to ensure uninterrupted supplies of medical oxygen in the country. So yes, the success is we have wonderful, amazing policy planners in the country, headed by the Prime Minister himself.
I'm going to interrupt you here and say that first of all, I think that it's amazing that Indian government was so fast and proactive in coming to the people who really know what they're doing and listening to their advice and taking their advice as the threshold on what needs to be done. And second of all, I'm very happy to say that by giving consultation to the Indian government, you came up with completely new ideas and supply chain models, but also in overcoming the entire crisis of oxygen supply in India was a huge success. And this being put into your doctoral thesis is exactly what we here at SSBM are looking for, the applicability of the findings or innovative modeling, which our candidates do. It's one thing to do it, but second thing is to really put it into life. And you are, and we are fortunate to have you because you've already done that.
You're right, absolutely correct. Minja, the best, as you said, we have been giving them ideas, suggestions, all professionals do. But the best part, which I feel is very impressive about the government and the senior government officers, I feel personally that this is a listening government. I mean, when the ideas are given, they are not shot down. They thought about it and they thought, hey, this is a good idea, let's work on it. It's not sometimes some officers don't listen to you, don't even listen to your advice or your suggestion. But this time, this government is a listening government. And when I told, for example, one of the things we saved millions of lives in the country. Minja, there was a time when we had started dipping in our stocks. That means India had started consuming more oxygen than what we were producing or what we had the installed capacity. We had already dipping in the stocks. That was the time when I would have sleepless nights. So when a lot of proactive measures were taken by the government. It's true, the suggestions came, from associations like mine or, from AGMA, because AGMA was the forefront, partnered with the government to tide over the crisis. One of the best thing was when they allowed, on our suggestion, allow industrial oxygen for medical use.
Exactly. That's one of the fantastic decisions done by Indian government, but again, because they heard you, they were good listeners.
Yeah. And it's not allowing, when I say allowing industrial oxygen for medical use, is keeping the impurities in mind as per the guidelines given by the FDA of India, because we have to keep some, there are permissible impurities which we have to keep in mind. But apart from that, so, I remember the day the order came, we proposed this on 5th of April, had discussions on 5th itself, 6th with the concerned Minister of Commerce, Government of India, then the health officials. 6th, we had a series of meetings. 7th morning, the law of the land was changed.
Wow.
In flat 2 days, the government changed the law, allowed the industrial oxygen.
Which would more characterize cooperative sort of thinking.
True. They can give run to any business organizations in the world. The way the government of India, the speed at which they work. And, what gave me relief at that point of time, the stock on 6th of oxygen, the medical oxygen stock, was around, I think, 20,000 tons, 20,000 metric tons. But on 7th morning, we were around 100,000 tons, because now the industrial oxygen which was lying with us could be now used. So this was a proactive measure. Then the decision of doing the, RoRo service, roll on and roll off, we put all these big, huge mobile cryogenic tankers. We flew one way, we flew them. Our Indian Air Force flew these tankers, to the oxygen plants, because the challenge what we had was a logistical challenge or a nightmare. Our stocks were lying in the eastern part of the country, and the deficit states in the areas were northern, south, and the western part of the country. And if the vehicle has to go to and fro, it would take 12 days to 15 days.
And I know you made the new model in supply chain there
as
well.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's something that our fellow researchers and colleagues will not take care. So
nowhere in the world it has happened that we use Air Force, these planes, to lift empty tankers, take them to the oxygen plant, fill them up. On the way back, we made these through Indian Railways. We made the oxygen express trains, put all these tankers on these low-bedded rigs. So we had to use specialized rigs. So on those specialized rigs, and it cut down the logistical time. Maybe from 12 days, we cut it down to in 3 days' time or something like that, or 4 days' time.
Amazing for patients around the country.
And that's how we, one of the measures what we did.
And finally, what amazes me is the ability of the government that together with you to overcome all the administrative issues on public offerings, tendering, and being able to really swiftly decide on the purchases, etc., etc.
See, this is a learning for me as well. The good thing about the whole thing is that it gave me an opportunity to peep into the working lives of these policy planners. In India, we call them Indian Administrative Service Officers. These are the senior government officers. They are the ones who make the policies of the government. So what the learning was, during the usual time when the government has to purchase something, even if it's a $1 or $1 billion thing, there's a processes. The processes you have to take the offers from 4, 5, 6. For the technical offer and then the commercial offer, it might take months. Here, the federal government had, we call them empowered groups. They had formed certain groups, empowered groups, which had very senior government officers, and they would take a call, over the video call. And we bought cylinders, first 100,000 cylinders, we bought Government of India over the phone at 10 in the night. And they were ready to go at any length to save lives. And the way they worked, the way the policy planners were working day and night was amazing. I learned something
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
You and
so
I,
yeah.
you and I started our collaboration some maybe less than a year ago,
That's
and
true.
I remember you were very tired because it was the end of the second wave, and you could see that it's taken its toll on you. So how come that again such a high level professional and the person such as yourself at that particular period decides to go upon its doctorate? And what's your experience? Can you share that a bit?
Honestly, it's a good question, Minja. I'm 57, 58. I played my innings, you know. But, so God has been kind. So, I have my own companies and I have my own business to run. So I'm not doing this doctorate to get promotion, to get promoted or for my job or for something. All of a sudden, I realized when the second wave got over, I had a lot of time at hand. I didn't know what lockdown was still on, not 100%, but a lot of work was being done from the home. During the COVID time, since I was part of the important planning team of the Government of India, and I was heading the association, still heading the association, I really had no time. But then all of a sudden, when the COVID cases started going down and the demand for the oxygen started going down, I had time with me. So I thought, let me, get further educated. Let me learn something new, and let's see. I mean, learning always helps, and that was the time when I thought, let me do something. First, I did some online courses and with Harvard, and then a friend of mine told me, "You got so much data now." When we started this fight against the COVID, there was no data available in the country. How many medical oxygen cylinders does the country have? How many mobile oxygen cryogenic tankers you have? What is the storage capacity? How much oxygen can you, what is the installed capacity? No one had a clue.
How much does one patient need on a respirator or on ventilator?
Exactly.
Et cetera.
No, because the challenge was when the government, as a proactive measure, they told us, hey, listen, we are going to need oxygen. And we asked how much. They didn't know.
Exactly.
It's not our government. No one in the world knew. Not only that, how many people are going to fall sick, all the projected figures, but what percentage will require oxygen.
So I'm going to interrupt again. Now you owe it to the research society, to every human being on the planet, to publish your work, to finish your doctoral thesis, due to the fact because you're able to offer a completely new model of how the entire process can be run, how the crisis can be overcome, and finally share the figures upon which we'll be able to estimate what future holds against us.
No, what I want to do is that to come up with how to prevent medical oxygen crisis during the pandemic. It's not the COVID. It can be during the wartime. It can be during the pandemic. It can be during how to prevent the oxygen crisis. So that's what I'm looking at, and I thought, let me give something back to the society, because for past 2 years I've been working, and I have the kind of data what we have and what we have generated and what we have been collecting. It has to be useful for the generations to come, and what are the ways by which we can avert the oxygen crisis.
And to finish this wonderful conversation, I just want to ask if you could share your thoughts on how does the DBA journey looks like for you so far?
Going back to the school after ages is not easy. It's not easy. I started with these 6 months, 8 months, these certification courses. That was a bit interesting, challenging. You learn something new. I really liked it when I did some online courses, as I said, from Harvard, and I liked it. And then I thought, let me jump into it. I thought it would be a bit easy with so much data and with so much work I have done, but to put the entire thing in the right perspective, in the right format, it's not easy. It's not easy, but yeah, it's interesting.
The highest degree one can obtain. So in that sense, obviously,
well, that is the motivation that keeps you going on.
Of course.
That let's do it. Let's get the doctorate. And As I said, that it's not for any personal gain or something. Idea is to make it will be a document which I feel will be useful for the new generation, for the next generation to work on.
That's the key message here, that any research is just basically a new milestone and also ground for the research to come after that.
True.
Thank you very much for your visit to our brand new Zagreb campus, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thanks again.